Afternoon all, how are we all doing? Back again, Friday afternoon, weekend. Afternoon, Kennelly, Ian, Crom, Virginia, Edward, Audio, Gregors, Baggy, how are we doing? So this afternoon is University of Michigan at 3. So we got half an hour after the open. We get some potential volatility coming through. Hopefully we get some volatility this afternoon. Been a bit crap, isn't it? But that's the news this afternoon. This morning's news was just the GDP for the pound, which came out as a slight positive. No reaction to the pound, though. All we've had this afternoon in between live rooms is Lagarde. And as you can see, Lagarde didn't say anything. Logan was speaking this morning as well, but and Bostic as well, but nothing, they're not saying anything interesting. All Lagarde said basically that was of interest was if we keep the rates where they are long enough, inflation will come down. Hopefully. But yeah, so no news this morning. And that's all we've got today. You can see from the FX markets, we've got no ADRs today, so no movement. RSIs are exactly as they were this morning, so not an awful lot of movement anywhere, really. Oil hasn't managed to break out from yesterday's range. US dollar has just started a little rally in the last hour against the CAD. Not gone anywhere against the yen. Euro's not really made any progress. It's just nothing moving. So CAD's had a sell-off, but that's about it. There's nothing much else happening today. So it's all about the CAD today so far. Yeah, boring. DAX this morning, tricky open again. Awful open on the DAX today. It literally went sideways for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. An hour in, we got a break. And then the break lasted an hour and it went nowhere. And then we finally made a move for 2 hours and came back. So not gone anywhere either. I got out of this morning manual. So basically we left this morning as the plan was to come down into yesterday's low and rebound off of that, or to break up to yesterday's high. Because there's no volume, obviously, you're not going to get very far when there's no volume. So the plan was to go for the closest possible support resistance, which is those two, which is exactly what it did. I got out a bit early on this. So I'm out with it $300 this morning. But I got out here of the shorts because we had lots of nice wicks to the downside. We basically broke that level and we stopped for half an hour. Then we put that whacking great wick in to the downside. So this candle is basically what made my decision to get out today. There, huge hammer went in at that level. So I got out and immediately it turned tail and ran the other way. So yeah, I got an aggressive position on and then got out on the move up, but it's not gone anywhere. So no joy this morning on the DAX. Tiny profit. Not a lot. US indices this morning, as you can see from the Globex sessions, we've had a little rally into the open. Not big sessions again today. The NASDAQ's bought up quite a lot. Just going to see if there's any NASDAQ earnings. Flutter fall. Li Auto is beating Tesla. Li Auto is beating Tesla China EV sales. SMIC posting 80% drop. Yeah, don't know why they're buying up the NASDAQ. They're buying up the NASDAQ. So yeah. But still, if you look at ADRs, we've got still a fair distance to ADR on everything. So there's loads of room. So we'll see where we go, but not a lot of movement today, as usual. Afternoon, everybody else. Emac, John, JC, how we doing? So we've got 2 minutes to the open. So just having a quick look at where we potentially got for targets today. So the Dow, obviously, yesterday was the first down day for 3 days, or first down day this week, basically. So we had a drop yesterday. We're just retesting this resistance at the moment. So this area of support, which is what we broke yesterday, that's where we are now. So if this market structure is going to hold, i.e. that shift there, lower high, lower low, we're looking for a lower high before a drop, and we're looking for a profit take on that move. So shorts will probably be faster than longs today. We'll put tick strike on as well so we can listen. Oh. Oh, buying. They're definitely buying today, aren't they? Oh, big one. Look at that. Big order coming in. Very big order coming in. We've got 10 seconds to the open. So that's the Dow, basically. The others are pretty much the same. We've had a structure break to the downside. So we're looking for push up and then a drop. So we'll see where we go. Markets open. No pre-markets being taken. Oh yeah, no, sorry, I am taking pre-market. So pre-markets on those 5 minutes. No pre-market on the NASDAQ is what I meant to say. So long on the Dow. S&P. So basically, it's the 5 minute opening ranges basically today on the S&P and the Dow. No pre-market on the NASDAQ because that hasn't had enough movement. Too tight. So I'll be taking the 5 minute opening range on that one. Nice to see. Immediately go long, and then here come the sellers. Straight away, as soon as I go long, the sellers step in. Thank you very much. NASDAQ's trying to break short, so is the S&P. So I'm going to go short S&P, long Dow by the looks of things. We'll see if we get that movement down, but it certainly sounds like they want to reverse, doesn't it? No triggered order yet. Again, another good example of why we use an offset. You see that was bouncing off that low, bouncing, because that's where they bought from. So they're defending that level. We are in now short. So short one, long the other. So one of those is going to hedge today. We'll see where we go. Certainly seller heavy to start with. Interesting. I've got a 7 offset over there. I'm not short on the S&P on the other account because the offset is 7. The offset is 5 here. Now I'm short. Different settings. All right, I'm just talking to somebody in the Telegram group. I think the person's Chinese. I really don't know what they're saying. I think something's getting a little lost in translation somewhere. Let me just turn the crickets down ever so slightly because they're a little bit overwhelming today. There's a lot of selling pressure coming through at the moment. Afternoon, Martin. Afternoon, Brian. Chirp is spelt with an I, not a U. Would like to see a nice pump and dump on the S&P. I'd rather just see a dump at the moment, to be honest. I'm short, so dump only. Absolutely fine. That would suit me because I don't mind getting hedged. I am hedged. There you go. Hedged on the Dow, short on the S&P. No trades on the NASDAQ as yet. So basically, I'd like this to dump down to 2R, which means I can shut that, walk away with that green, and then I can go do something else because it's the weekend. But knowing the markets at the moment, the way they are, and the way that they keep whipping to crap at the moment, probably get hedged on both of them and have to deal with them for the entire afternoon. Seems to be the bane of our lives at the moment. Last week, market is totally confused, as you can tell by the price action on these. We are literally just doing that at the minute. Little push, sit there, no idea. Little push, sit there, no idea. Little push. What do you think today might be? We'll see. Not very convincing though, is it? Right, 20 seconds to go until this 5-minute initial candle is in. The NASDAQ looks like it wants to break long. The S&P is trying very hard to go short. And the Dow hasn't got any idea. If anybody speaks Chinese or Japanese, I don't know what language it is, but if anyone can try and translate in the Telegram group, that would be good. They're not speaking in Chinese, but I think they're translating what they're saying into English, and it's not making any sense. So, I don't know. Can't help. Really sell heavy today. Okay, so 5-minute opening range is in on the NASDAQ. That's 247. It's only just above 10%, so it's a really tight range today at the open, mainly because it looks like it wants to go long, but as you can hear, there's nothing but sellers in the S&P at the moment, so it's being held back. It's almost like this is coiling, and if the S&P suddenly decides to flip the other way, that'll probably pop long. But we'll see. See how much pressure we've got on these sells. See if we can get down to target. Be nice to get a straight flush today and just get to target within 20 minutes instead of having to sit here for an hour waiting for some price action, but we'll see. Okay, going along on the NASDAQ, it looks like. That's going to make the afternoon difficult. That goes long and that goes short. One of those is getting hedged today, so that's going to make life awkward this afternoon. If you could just get down NASDAQ, that would be lovely. We need some more sellers to come in board, help that down. If I can get that to target with a decent amount of money without getting onto that, oh, that's close. That'll be good. Doesn't look like it's going to happen though. So this NASDAQ, that's obviously the offset hasn't triggered, so that's good. So if we can continue this rally south, that would be nice. If we can get that one running with the S&P, I can just close that out and use the profit on those two today. No. There goes the afternoon. Okay. Can't win today. So basically, short and long, which means one of those is going to hedge. That's already hedged. So there's 2 trades which are going to go into loss guaranteed today, if not all 3, if we get a whipsaw on the NASDAQ. So, right, come back to that in a minute. Can't do anything with that today. Just have to wait. Turn him down a bit. So we'll have a look at the FX while we're waiting to see what happens with those. Looks like the whole market's going to break long today, which means I've got 2 hedges and 1 profit. It's a bit of a pain in the backside, but I'll deal with those in a minute. Right. So no ADRs today. There's not been any movement, basically, on the FX markets. So we've got nothing really getting anywhere near ADR today. Very tight ranges. The only thing that's just started to move was the Canadian dollar, which kind of started a couple of hours ago. So a bit of a sell-off there. But other than that, nothing else moving. We've had a bit of movement up, but back down again. So there's no direction. A little bit of movement, but not a lot of movement. You see what I mean? So we're not getting anywhere near any ADRs. There's no extensions going in. All the weeklies we looked at this morning, obviously, it's a bit late to get into these now. We're Friday afternoon. So anything that is massively extended beyond 125 ADR, if we get a big move off of the University of Michigan numbers, obviously we may get a movement this afternoon. So we'll see. But there's a few bits and pieces which are extended to 125 on the weeklies. Nothing's hit its monthly ranges yet. We're on the 10th of the month, so we're a third of the way in, and we haven't had any movement on the monthlies. So nothing else to look at there at the moment. Market's rallying long on the NASDAQ. S&P's back inside the opening range. So NASDAQ is my only hope today. If that hedges as well, it's just going to be a utter pain in the arse weekend, because I'm going to have to deal with this all afternoon. Be nice to get out of this within an hour so I can go and do other things, but going to have to take a loss if I do that today. So I should be babysitting this for a bit, I think. So if we can get 2R hit on the NASDAQ, I can stick that in the bank. That will pay for the S&P, and then I'll have to look for a way out of, or that will pay for the S&P or the Dow, and then I'll have to look for a way out on the other. So basically, if you get hedged on 3, if you have 3 positions, 2 hedged and 1 winner, yeah, when you get to 2R, that will pay for in total one of the other 2. Yeah. So by the time this gets to there, the profit there will be way bigger than that, which means that I can close that. I can close both trades at 2R there. And then I've just got to deal with that 1 hedge. So you basically, 1 cancels the other and you're left in 1. If you get 2 clean breaks, it's just guaranteed. You cannot lose, guaranteed win. So when you get 1 that's definitely hedged, 1 that's long and 1 that's short, you know that if that goes long, that is going long. So that is a guaranteed hedge as well. This is the problem with trading a sort of a portfolio of indices which move in the same direction. Because if that's gone short and that's gone long and these 2 move together, you know one of them is going to take control in a minute. What I want to take control today is the NASDAQ, so that gets hedged. If that takes control today, that means that's getting hedged, which means I'm sitting in 3 hedges, which makes the afternoon an absolute pain to get out of, doesn't it? So we're looking for the bulls to stay in control this afternoon, ideally, and then I can use the profits from this to offset. So we'll see. Ideally, again, you want this all to have played out within half an hour today, because in half an hour we've got University of Michigan, or rather in 20 minutes, we've got University of Michigan figures coming in, and there's a good chance of a very big spike across the indices. So fingers crossed we get a really negative number and the market decides it wants to sell the US dollar today, so this lot can just fly to the upside. That would be the ideal, and then that should move far enough to get out of all 3. And then take that basically 5% for the week, which pretty good. Right, so there's your ADRs, weeklies, there's nothing to look at. RSIs, Aussie dollar Swiss. So that's extended. These are all 4 hours. There's no hourlies. We had a couple of hourlies this morning we looked at in the live room, but there's nothing much else. So 4 hourlies to the downside. We've got Aussie Swiss. So I got out of this one today, this afternoon, well, this morning. So got out of the Aussie Swiss shorts there. This is 50% retracement, and we're back down to this area here, which we're bouncing off of. So this is potentially a turncoat resistance or a turncoat support in this case. So, excuse me, good opportunity for long. This has been very orderly on the way down though. So we've had a nice move and a profit take, a move and a profit take, a move. So we're looking for that kind of as a minimum really to get back into that propulsion. If it's going to continue down or it's going to be that type of movement. Don't know which, but that is extended, not very. It's just below the 30 at the moment. So I'd want to see that get a little bit deeper ideally. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, again, got out of that one yesterday. Hasn't gone anywhere today. So again, that's a 4-hour RSI extension. We're embedded and have been for a couple of days now below the 25 level. So that's a pretty decent one. This is a really difficult. It's good. I was just going to say, we've all gone a bit quiet. I just want, ideally, a decent rally before University of Michigan comes in. So yeah, this is a bit of an odd one, the Aussie New Zealand. It's gone into this really big sort of sweeping range, which could continue. But we have put new highs in there, which obviously got rejected. So this could well just be a retracement, in which case then it's going to go from here or somewhere in this area here. So difficult. It is nicely extended to the downside. If this can get even further down, it would be a much bigger long, better long rather, because if that doesn't work, you've only got to trade it back down into there with like a couple of extra positions, and then you'll be able to get out when it double bottoms. But could go from there, Aussie New Zealand. No idea which way that's going. There's no directional bias on it. TP hit on the NASDAQ. So position one, locking in. Do I want to lock in that much? Hedged on the S&P. Quarter of an hour, haven't we? I'm just trying to make a quick decision. Basically, I can close this out for $1,500 now. There's a $1,000 hedge there. So that clears me $500. I've got profit in the bank already from this morning of 300. So I just would need to deal with the Dow this afternoon, which is looking like it wants to go short again. Or if we can hold on without getting stopped out on the second position on the NASDAQ for 15 minutes and the US dollar dumps, that's going to go flying through the upside, in which case then I'm going to make about 3K on that, which closes both of those out. What to do? I'm just going to protect that with a break even. I'm not going to take a 1R on it. It will trail at 1R when it pushes up. But I'm just going to give it another 10 minutes of breathing room to see if it can hold these highs. Because if the S&P does rally and breaks out of those highs, the NASDAQ will go with it. And then we can hopefully get a decent move off the news. See where we go. Right, sorry. Just thinking on the go. Aussie US, really nice extension to the downside on this one. This is a it's a downtrend, or has been a downtrend for the last month or so. We have bottomed out very nicely at this level, this previous low. So we've got a lovely new high gone in, broken structure. So this is potentially a pullback long at the moment. So we're breaking structure back to the upside. We need a bit more US dollar weakness to give that another kick, but I've got 2 longs on that at the moment. Average is there. So nice extension on the 4-hour now. It was extended on the hourly, which is why I'm in it. So I got in on the hourly RSI extension, M5 reversal alert from that level there. So looking basically for new leg up. We've gone a little bit deeper. So we're basically playing a pullback on that move at the moment, which is a 71.9 retracement where we are at the minute. So if that doesn't work and we don't get a pop on negative news, we'll be looking for additional entries down here. And then double bottom bounce. So that looks good for longs, already in that one at the moment. Swiss yen also extended to the upside on the 4 hour. All of these yens, there's a couple of them. We've got the Swiss yen, the Euro yen, and the US yen. All at the moment, weak yen, so we're pushing. So it's difficult to tell what's going to happen with these because the US dollar yen obviously is the one that the Japanese are watching the most at the moment. So that level there is our previous high, which we're coming up to now. So this week we've done nothing but rally, as you can see, but it's been just a grind all the way up to that level. Yeah. So either today we're going to get a negative move on the US or a positive move on the US in 10 minutes. So if we get a positive move, that's going to put us back above that high. And it's also going to put us above the 152 previous October intervention. If we get above that level, next week, the Japanese are going to start complaining and threatening to do more intervention moves. Yeah. So historically, we had an intervention failure and then a second intervention which worked. We've had the intervention failure, a couple of small attempts which have also failed. That push above 152 next week, if it happens, I think is what's going to trigger the yen move. So at the moment, everything yen, I think you still want to be short on it right now, but that is assuming that we are going to get an intervention and history is going to repeat itself. Sellers are coming in. So yeah, difficult with all of those yens at the minute. Some people think it's going to break out and run. I can't see it. I just don't think the yen will, the Japanese won't allow it. They will just liquidate all their overseas assets. Buy the yen, it's going to collapse. So it's just a waiting game at the moment, as we know. If we get a strong US rally this afternoon, we'll hear about it on Monday morning, probably over the weekend, maybe even this afternoon, don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. So that's the Swiss yen extended to the upside. The Euro yen is also extended to the upside as well. So good shorts from these highs. We're coiling up there at the moment. I don't want to hear sellers coming in before the news. I just want to make sure, I just really want to be in. I want to be in this NASDAQ just for the sake of news, being able to hit upside target basically, because I've got 2 hedges which I need to pay for. So just hoping that the US dollar news is negative. We'll see. Or rather, they move the US dollar negative. The news has got nothing to do with it. It's the University of Michigan. It's a survey of 500 people. It's really not that important. But they will use it because there'll be liquidity in the market this afternoon. So Dow's out the lows. Look, real divergence again with the Dow. Big difference in Dow stocks at the moment. So those are your yens. The only other extensions we've got are the euros. So the euro odd and the euro pound. Lagarde came out this morning. Again, didn't really say an awful lot. Nothing particularly impactive. We had a little bit of positive movement out the euro yesterday off of Lagarde's speech. So she spoke yesterday as well. Got a little rally on the euro. Nothing she can say today that's going to make any difference because she said everything yesterday. So all we've done today really with the euro is a bit of a continuation move on yesterday. So nicely extended to the upside. Euro odd 4-hour RSI extension above 75. We've got 2 highs coming up previous month as well. So that's within ADR. So if we get all the way up to there, we should get a nice pullback on that. I've got 2 shorts on at the moment. Average is within ADR. So I'll be taking a 3rd position up there, bringing the average up and looking to get out when we push back down. Propulsion target to the downside is at the moment in the middle of that large propulsion move. If I take a 3rd, I'll see where the average goes. The average is probably actually only going to go somewhere around about there. So that will probably be a bit too tight to get out. So I'll probably just move targets up to that low, which is the top of that propulsion gap, and get out down there. But we'll see. Euro odd and then the euro pound as well. That's also extended to the upside. Similar sort of thing. We got a monthly high coming up. This is a really clean move to the upside. So I would expect a very nice profit take move on that. Come on, the buyers. That's what I want to hear. So yeah, that one's extended on the 4 hour as well to the upside. So that's all you got. There's nothing else to look at today. It's Friday. We'll probably get movement for the next hour or so, but that'll probably be it. Morning XR update.news. Got a little distracted. World War III and all. Hopefully not. I haven't seen anything new about anything kicking off anywhere, but, you know, only takes one accidental rocket to land in a US compound, and it will be, won't it? Very easy to start World War III, isn't it? Like, if you wanted to, you could basically just bomb the crap out of Russia and say, Ukraine did it. World War III. Can we talk yen and Swiss? I probably just did, didn't I? I've certainly talked yen. Swissy. Little bit of strength today. That's all really. Not a lot happening on the Swiss franc at the moment. We're waiting for something to happen, basically, with the Swiss or with World War III. That will move the Swiss. Afternoon, Evans. So we've got 5 minutes to the news. NASDAQ is out the highs, which is good. We just had an alert come in on US dollar CAD, weekly range 125. So we've had a US dollar CAD is now 125. It's weekly. What's that? Is that the Canadian or is that the US? US is rallying. So the US is, they're buying the US dollar up ahead of the Michigan figures. So big strong move just coming in the US. Bostic is speaking at the moment. Fed is well positioned to let things happen. More monetary policy transmission is yet to come. More monetary policy transmission is yet to come. So the market's moving off of this. I don't know if this is just pre-Michigan orders coming in or what, but there's certainly a lot of volume coming into the US at the moment. So, ooh, that was a biggie. So I've got another $500 locked in on that at the moment. So that's going to be $1,300 locked in on the NASDAQ, which pays for the S&P hedge. So I'm still going to have to deal with one. But ideally, this will go through the roof in a minute, and that'll be the afternoon complete. I'll just walk away with whatever I've got. Scary times. World War III is no more Forex. You still need currency, don't you? I don't know. I've no idea what happens to the what happens to currency markets in a world war. I've never been in one. So, nobody has. That'll be a new one. I'll be unemployed. So will everybody else. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what will happen if that happens. We'll find out, won't we? Well, hopefully we won't. Hopefully everything will just be normal. We'll let the Middle East have a little fight. We'll let Russia and Ukraine have a little fight. We'll just carry on doing what we do. Being normal. Okay, we've got 2 minutes to news. Please keep me in the NASDAQ until the news. You're going to stop me out, aren't you? Just before the news, and then you're going to fly. See what happens. If anybody's got any other pairs or anything else they want to look at, let me know. Oil is the other thing, obviously, at the minute we've been looking at. It's moving well today, but still no progress on oil. So we haven't so far managed to get out of yesterday's high, but we are certainly going the right way. So this reversal alert we had yesterday on the hourly has retested yesterday, and this is part of the retest. So potentially the W pattern is going in, and I'm looking basically to retest that area, which is 175 ADR. We're not going to get there today. It's going to, well, I don't know. See what happens with the US dollar. If they go absolutely mental on the US for any reason, then maybe we will. But yeah, it's certainly going the right way. So hopefully we'll get out of that yesterday's high at some point. I'm going to get spread out on this. I think when the news hits, I think this is just going to whip me out anyway. Regardless, it's a bit too close to my stop loss. Unless we can push up to there, and then obviously I've got half a chance. But where we are now, any kind of spreading is just going to take me out of the market anyway. New Zealand dollar yen, we'll look at that in a sec. There we go, out of the NASDAQ and that whipsaw. Okay. So, Michigan figures 60.4, forecast 63, that's negative US. In theory, negative US, but so that would indicate indices going long. So let's just see what they decide to do initially with that data. Not a lot by the looks of things. So slightly bullish US dollar at the moment, which obviously would mean negative index. But not really reacting much to it, is it? We'll give it 5 minutes and just see what they do with it. But at the minute, they don't seem to be doing anything. So that came out as a 60.4 on a 63 forecast. And so that is quite down on the forecast. But again, I'm never convinced about this. It's basically a survey of 500 people as to how they think everything's going. It's like, how do you think everything's going? Well, I'm not doing very well at the moment. I've lost a load of money. How do you think the finances are going? Well, I'm a bit tight at the moment, a bit skint. What's that person's opinion of the finance world got to do with anything to do with monetary policy? 500 people surveyed. So it's a cross-section survey, which to me has never been something I would imagine the banks really rely on. But they do move the market off of it quite often. So it looks like positive US. So where I am at the moment, oh, look at the DAX. DAX isn't happy about that at all. So it looks like the market wants to go short on this at the moment, but this is the first 5-minute candle, so I'm not necessarily going to trust this 1 5-minute move. I'm sitting on 1.6% banked 1.97% locked in hedge. So I'm literally looking at a 0.3% loss today, which is nothing. So I might just call it there and leave these two rather than trying to get out. Obviously right now we're about to probably get a move. It's a 50-50 shot which way it's going. So if I go, okay, I'm going to remove those shorts and try and go long, and it goes short, it's just going to cost me a lot of money. So I'm just going to leave these hedges in place at the moment. We'll have a look at potential targets for them. But certainly at the moment, the market looks bearish, but it's not moving fast enough or hard enough really to make any decisions at the minute. So let's give it a minute. New Zealand dollar yen. All of them the same yens. I would be looking for shorts, especially now, if we're getting a bullish reaction to that news. So if this does go long, the US dollar yen, within ADR today is the previous October intervention level at 152. So if we get above there today, that's going to trigger the Japanese interest in doing something about the US dollar. So if that happens, you do not want to be longing any yen pair. You want to be shorting everything yen. So shorting against the yen because the yen's going to power up. So I'd be looking for shorts on it. We've had the reversal alert at the moment. That was your entry. But yeah, I certainly want to be going long on it at the moment. If it does rally, i.e. the US dollar pushes up against the yen and the yen suddenly weakens on it, you've got two levels of resistance coming up, which are previous monthly highs at 125, 150 ADR that you can scale into. When that move comes, it's payday. But we're assuming that we're going to get another move, aren't we? Which at the moment we don't know. The market's gone totally quiet. It's Friday afternoon. So don't know. So with the Dow, obviously it's going to depend whether or not they move this afternoon, isn't it? But where we are right now, the pre-market low basically down here, which is the Globex low, is your first stop. Then it's yesterday's low. So this area down here is between sort of 2 to 3R to the downside from today's opening range. That potentially is a bounce point. So if we are not going to break down today and continue this profit take move to the downside, we're going to bounce here. So if it goes short, I would be looking for any kind of price action around these levels to get out of the longs. If it continues to slam down again, you can re-hedge it at this level. You're going to lock in probably about 50% more loss on your account. But you're probably better because there's a long way to drop. If it goes up today and they rally, and that means the US dropping, you've got an absolute ton of space. Yesterday's high is all the way up there. And then you've got the previous day's high, which is this week's high, all the way up there. Yeah, so I would let it run and see if we can get a price action there. So get out the longs there and try and get in shorts back down to get out of the rest of it. But it's Friday afternoon, so there is a very high probability also of just going into rotation today, which means we're not going anywhere. So just unfortunate the open today. It's just so unfortunate I got triggered into that long there. If that hadn't triggered that long hedge, that would be in profit now. And I could just close that out in profit, which would be about $300. Close that, walk away with a profit. But as it stands, I'm going to make a 0.33 loss at the minute. So so that's the S&P. The Dow, sorry, that's the Dow. The S&P, is very similar. You're looking at the pre-market low and yesterday's low. No, that's not the pre-market low, is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, so pre-market low today. God, that's a big rally, wasn't it? And then yesterday's low is where we closed. So yesterday's close basically, and the pre-market low, that's 4R to the downside. So that's a pretty decent move. If we can get all the way down there, you've got a good chance of getting a bounce. If you look at where ADR is to the downside, it's kind of another 50% on from that move. So there's your 5R. But if we break down below that low, obviously, again, the same as the rest, there's a long way to drop. We don't know if they're going to want to undo a percentage of that move. And if they do, there's just nowhere to stop, is there? So if it does break short, we've got loads of room to the downside. Upside, obviously, very simple today. ADR, yesterday's high, both the same level, also 5R to the upside. So that's where I'll be looking. Potentially, you got this area here as well. So that has been very reactionary. There's been a lot of selling out of that level. So that propulsion move got added to twice there. So you might find some resistance there as well. So if you see some candlestick patterns there that look bearish, you could exit there and look for a pullback. You're only looking for that. That's all you need. So whenever you get to any level, all you need is a pullback the size of your range, 55 in this case. All you want. And you're out with a break even. No loss, no win, just break even. Exactly the same as the DAX today. So that was the range. From there to there. That's all you want. Depends where you get out, you're short and etc. etc. But that will give you the break even move. If you're getting an aggressive exit, that is. Obviously, if you don't need to get an aggressive exit, you can get out with a conservative exit. But so yeah, there we go. Not a great day again. It's been a mixed week this week. 6% up at the moment, but obviously you're going to take a 2% loss off of that. So it's going to end up as just about 4.8% this week, which isn't bad considering that it's been a week from hell. From a break perspective, it's just been very awkward, isn't it? I guess the Fed's Bostic has to compensate for Powell crashing the market. Yeah, yesterday. This is what talking heads do. Talking heads are there to rally and calm the market. Yeah. Look at the pound. Remember what Liz Truss did to us. And then remember what Powell did to us. Yeah. Can't quite see it, can you? It was a while ago. Yeah. Liz Truss, Powell. Yeah. It's very easy to just reverse stuff. Yeah. You say, don't worry, everybody. I'm going to XYZ, which is going to XYZ. Oh, really? Bye. That's what happens, isn't it? We're sheep. We follow the herd. If the herd says we're going to do this, we do this. We do what we're told. The Fed says buy because we're going to increase interest rates. We do it. Then they go, only joking. Exactly the same as the yen. Look at what the Japanese did. Yeah. Where was it? There. Hey, everybody. We're going to increase our interest rates above 0.1 for the first time in 6 years. Woohoo! Only joking. Aren't they fun, the markets? Why didn't you wait until 3 o'clock? Why didn't I wait until 3 o'clock? For what? Wait until 3 o'clock. Drink my coffee? I don't know. Buyers stepping in now. So tricky. So just let these run, I would, this afternoon if you're in them. I am. And then we'll see where we go. Thanks for subscribing. Al Nasser Senegal TV1. welcome aboard. Good name. That's all I've got for you today. There's not a lot else really to look at the minute. There's nothing particularly exciting in drawdown that I need to deal with apart from oil. Banked 1% today. Really wish oil wasn't in my life, because it would be a lovely month if oil wasn't in my life. So I'm not using oil anymore. But yeah, everything else is just flip-flopping, and Friday afternoons is quiet. So the news at 3, yeah. I know what happened at 3, but why didn't I wait until 3? For what? To pick my nose? You haven't said, you said, why didn't I wait until 3 to... What? What should I have done at 3 o'clock? EuroCAD is almost at ADR, is it? Not for me. It's miles away. ADR's all the way up there. Oops. Nowhere near ADR yet. I guess he refers to Michigan. Yeah, I know, guys. I told you about Michigan news at the beginning of the stream. I said 3 o'clock. We've got the University of Michigan news, but somebody's just said to me, "Why didn't I wait until 3 o'clock?" For what? Nobody said. What do you want me to do at 3 o'clock? Enter a position? Exit a position? I don't know. What do you want me to do at 3 o'clock? We've missed it now anyway, because it's quarter past. But what should I have done? I don't think he understands. The SAH is the opening range breakout. No, I think he does. Day Trader's been in here for a long time. I'm just confused as to what he wanted me to do at 3. I'm confused.com. I'm missing something somewhere. I'm missing something somewhere a lot today, because I've got somebody else in there in the Telegram group at the moment saying the EA closed the position. Yes, it does that. It's programmed to do that. So somebody hasn't watched the video or read the manual, but they're Chinese, so I quite understand it. But how do I communicate the fact that that's done exactly what it should do? It's one of those days. There's a lot of clouds in the air at the moment. Day Trader, confirm what you wanted me to do at 3 o'clock. Wait to close it. Wait to open a position. Because if that's the case, I don't do news trading. I trade the opening range. He's gone. Look, he's not talking to me anymore. Either that, or I'm on a massive delay. Anyway, yeah. So EuroCAD, it's not. No, it's nowhere near ADR for me. Shouldn't be for you either, really, because the ADR shouldn't be that far out. If it is, just check. If you've got a different ADR showing and it's really close for some reason, check that you've actually got 10 days worth of data loaded into your charts. Because if it's a new platform, your broker might have only given you 3 days worth of data, in which case the ADR 10 calculation can't work because it hasn't got 10 days to do calculations on. Oh, you were using ADR 5. Yeah, well, there you go then, as I just said. So if you're using ADR 5, you're only measuring the average daily range of these days, whereas ADR 10 had some bigger days in it than we've had. You've only had one big day. In ADR 5, ADR 10's had 3 big days. So your ADR figure will be further away. There's no right or wrong. Again, with ADR, you can use ADR 5. ADR 5, you'll probably get further extensions into because it's less of a sample size. So there's with small sample sizes, you can have much wider variations. With big sample sizes, you have much smaller variations. It's like this is why you backtest over long periods of time, so that you get that nice bell curve average. The shorter the period of testing, the more possibility for outlying variations there is. Yeah. So if you do a short test, you might get a result like that. there's lots of area here where it could be a fluke. With a long test, you have lower tails, bigger, wider moves like that, and there's less area for a fluke to happen. Which is why you use a longer period if you can. But if it's too long, you can't get enough accurate data in there. So all the testing I did on ADR showed that ADR 10 gave the most reliable extensions that repeated themselves over different out of sample periods. But to be honest, ADR 10, 12, not 8, not going to make a lot of difference. Just be cautious with the news. Why did I not wait to be cautious with the news? I don't understand, day trader. Have you been drinking today? You initially said, why didn't I wait until 3 o'clock? Just be cautious with the news. At 3 o'clock, what did I do for this 15 minutes before the news happened? What was I constantly doing? Readjusting my TP, my stop loss, and saying, I want to stay in the NASDAQ because I'd like the news to take me in that direction. I was fully aware of the news and I was adjusting things to be cautious around it. Maybe you weren't here. Or am I misunderstanding what you're saying? Are you saying I shouldn't have traded because there was news coming out? In which case, yeah, maybe that was the right thing to do today. Maybe I should have not traded this afternoon. But then if all 3 of these had broken long, hit TP2, hit TP1, and then flown to TP2 on the news, you would be saying I shouldn't have traded this afternoon. You never know what's going to happen, do you? But what you do want to be this afternoon is cautious with your hedges. But then again, the news hasn't moved the market. So we know with the stock index hedge strategy, the news causes spikes. This hasn't happened today. So this University of Michigan market's not moving it today. So if this was suddenly flying, you've got to be careful because you could go way beyond ADR. But today it's not moving. Yeah, UOM's not doing anything. It's Friday afternoon. They're all down the pub, getting drunk. What are you going to use for cooking then? Butter. Friday joke. If you're done with oil. Ah. Yes, I'm done with oil. What am I going to use for cooking then? Butter. That was really bad. Really bad. No, but I will soon. Day trader. Drink? I think I need one as well. It's been one of those days today. I get these days every now and again, and it's usually every couple of weeks, where Telegram goes absolutely mental with people asking me really, I don't want to use the word stupid, but questions that I would look at somebody in the eye and if they were in front of me and go, what? Because the answer is so obvious. And then I have to reel myself in and think back to 10 years ago when I was learning, or 15 years ago when I was learning to trade, and going, I don't understand that because I'd never done it before. But you get the odd question every now and again where you just confuse yourself, and your answer then confuses the person, and then you get into this confusing exchange of confusion. Is the only way I can describe it. Sometimes you answer a question so succinctly there isn't another level of detail you can go into, and somebody still doesn't understand it, and you can't answer anymore because there's nothing more to say. A little bit like the Chinese person at the moment in Telegram. I just don't know where to start. Sometimes you just look at something and you go, this is a 20-hour conversation. How can I possibly answer this in one sentence? Which is why I said if anybody can help. It needs somebody that speaks Chinese, because we're basically talking through a translator at the moment, and that ain't good. I find some of these channel names funny, especially Funded in a Week. Yep. Well, he's not here today, is he? Funded in a Week. But I'm pretty sure Funded in a Week probably set up some kind of service and was selling some kind of EA that would get you funded in a week. Now he's realized that that doesn't work. You watch, he'll be in here in a minute, screaming at me. Right, so my plan this afternoon, I'm going to watch this for, what's the time? 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, next hour and a half. At the moment, we're not getting any movement. So that was University of Michigan. Yeah, 20 minutes. We haven't gone anywhere. So extrapolate that into the future. You're probably looking at some kind of move like that in the next 2 hours. So it's unlikely I'm going to be able to get out of these hedges this afternoon. So just going to take a small loss on them. This one obviously has been paid for by the NASDAQ. This one is a little bit of a larger hedge. I'm using fixed lot sizing instead of percentage risk because I'm testing the difference between the two. If this was percentage, obviously these would all be exactly the same. So this one would have paid for more than one. But at the moment, unless this gets some really serious movement down to a good level of support, and in the next hour and a half, I see some decent confirmation of rejection, I might try and get out of one of them. But I'm not convinced it's going to go today, to be honest. It's Friday. It tends to be quiet. But then again, some Fridays are mental, aren't they? So we'll see. But yeah, so that's the plan for them. Down to support, up to resistance. Otherwise, just take it on the chin. I will today. I have a great trading idea, Journey Life. Why not buy and hold US dollar try on a monthly basis? I don't know. I don't think I have it, so I can't look. It's an exotic. I suspect the answer to that question will be, have you looked at the swap? And when you do look at the swap, I think you'll probably know why. I haven't got it. But look at how much it costs you to hold the US dollar try overnight. I don't know. If it's a positive swap, yeah, do it. Assuming it goes up. I don't trade exotics, so I can't answer that one for you. My audio is cutting in and out. Is anybody else hearing me cutting in and out? I don't think I am. No, audio's fine. It's your end, Stephen. Sorry. The swap is negative, but it depends on your broker. Yeah, I would be careful with that. You only get a leverage of 1 to 3 on the US dollar try. I'm not cutting out. Yeah, it's something at your end, Stephen. Maybe your internet connection. I don't know. Yeah, you might find it's... I've never looked at it. I was told very early in my trading career not to trade exotic pairs. And I never have. So there you go. I don't trade anything exotic. So like US dollars are, for example. Just don't trade it. There's no need to trade it. The reason you don't trade exotics most of the time is because exotics are quite often pegged. So if the a US, so for example, the Swiss franc used to be pegged. So the Swiss franc in the past was a pegged currency, and a pegged currency basically means that that currency is mapped to another one. So for example, let's say the try is mapped to the euro. When the euro goes up, the try goes up. When the euro goes down, the try goes down. So if you're going to trade US dollar try, what are you trading? Euro US dollar in reverse. So there's no point in trading exotic pairs, which is why you find most brokers don't hold them and they put ridiculous prices on them. Yeah. So the danger of trading any pegged currency, as you will probably be aware with the Swiss franc, is that, yeah, when they remove the peg from the currency, you will all die. Yeah. That's one day. That's a normal big day. That's a normal small day. That is a peg removal. You're bankrupt. And this is what happens with exotics when they have peg removals. And most exotics are pegged. So I don't know about the try. I've never looked into it. It may not be pegged, but there's no need. You've got 28 FX pairs, which contain 99% of all market liquidity. There's no need to trade anything that is ridiculous and has the chances of going nuts. It's just not worth it. But if it is something that just goes up and never goes down, yeah, you just keep buying it. Brian's made another meme. Yep. That's the weirdest pint glass I've ever seen in my life. Look at Powell's pint glass. What is going on with that pint glass? It's a squishy one. Has anybody ever seen a pint glass that looks like that? Look, John's been in the wars again. Look. He's got a little nick on his face. But look at the hands. It's not done bad today. And John is married. Powell's hands aren't particularly good, though. Not bad. He's going to Tash, look. It's 3 o'clock somewhere. Always time to go to the pub. 3 o'clock's a bit early, though. It's Friday, I suppose. Rajiv, the larger SAH. Larger SAH, what is the account size? About 30. Actually, it's more than that now. It's about 50k. SAH percent risk based on range without offset. Yes. So the risk is calculated on the range. Yeah, well, if you've got a chart that only goes up, Journey, trade it. Just keep buying it. Can't go wrong, can you? In theory. But I don't know. If that was the case, surely everybody would just do that. You just buy the US dollar try. What is the try? I don't even know what that is. Turkish lira. Looks like Bitcoin to me. It's just basically gone. Look at that. Lovely. Where's that? 28th of August. September, October, November. 3 months. So look at that. And then look at Bitcoin. And then look at what happened to Bitcoin. So if you're continuously buying the Turkish lira and it does a Bitcoin on you, it's going to hurt, isn't it? It's mixed John Wicks and Powell's face. Yeah, it might have done actually, isn't it? Have I got any other Powell ones? I have. See, look, they're glass. Look at this is John's pint glass before, and then John's pint glass after. It's slightly melty. God, you can tell it's Friday afternoon. Right, I'm going to disappear. I will be back Monday, same time, 7:50. For the Frankfurt session, 224 US. Just saying, Turkish lira, they are in a currency crisis, yeah. But currency crises will come to an end, don't forget. So when do you get out? When do you stop? You're going to stop when the thing goes the other way. That's when you're going to stop. But by then, you'll be too late. So everything you make on it, you'll lose on it on the drop. Everybody that bought Bitcoin became Bitcoin millionaires. They've lost it all. Because they didn't know how to trade and they lost it because they didn't realize things can come down again. They will. So I think that's why you just don't get involved with. There's so much going to happen so quickly. But There's no need to trade exotics. You've got plenty of instruments. So yeah, back 750 Monday, and obviously in the afternoon 220. These two this afternoon, I'm just going to keep the hedges on, depending on if you're in what you're in. I don't know what you're in, but if you're in them, looks like we're going short at the moment. So just be watching for bounces at the lows. Watch for price action though. Don't just get out because you've got to a level. Get out when you see something happening, when you see some buyers coming into the market. So I'll be back on Monday. Anything you need, I'll be in Telegram. Other than that, have a good weekend, and I will see you guys Monday. Have a good one.